Welcome, everyone. You are listening to the official, the canonical, the one and only Off the Record. You know exactly why you were here. We take the sprawling, just chaotic mass of source material, the internal documents, the witness testimonies, the suppressed biological data, and we distill it down into the absolute truth for you. Today, we are embarking on a profound, deeply unsettling deep dive into animal psychology, interspecies dynamics, and the just catastrophic consequences of institutional negligence.
Yeah, we are.
We are looking at a localized event that, honestly, it completely shatters our understanding of biological determinism.
It really does. It is a genuinely fascinating convergence of variables, and a very dangerous one, conceptually speaking.
Very dangerous.
Because we are looking at an event that forces you to question the very boundaries of consciousness, the mechanics of influence, and the fluidity of predatory behavior. Like, what happens when the apex predator mindset, the absolute top of the food chain in psychology,
The killer instinct.
right, the neurological architecture of a killer, what happens when that is downloaded practically line by line into the body of a 2-foot-tall aquatic bird? That is the question we're unpacking for you today.
And as always, to guide us through this analysis, our director, Ryan Thomas, has curated today's stack of sources. He has also, in his infinite and tyrannical wisdom, provided us with our dietary pairing for the session, which today consists of an absolutely massive, terrifyingly heavy spread of blue rare bloody steaks.
They are very bloody.
They are just sitting here sweating on a silver platter right in front of us, flanked by this massive pile of aggressively salted whole raw fish. And alongside this carnivore's nightmare, he has poured what I can only describe as an act of open hostility. We have quadruple shot espresso martinis, heavily floated with straight, cask-strength, high-proof bourbon.
It is a very intense flavor profile. I mean, the iron from the bloody steak, the extreme sodium of the fish, the bitter espresso, and then the aggressive ethanol burn of the bourbon.
It's a lot.
It feels less like a meal and more like a physical challenge. Like, we are preparing for gladiatorial combat. I feel like my heart is already beating at a slightly elevated, perhaps concerning rhythm. The caffeine alone is just staggering.
Oh, it's completely unnecessary. Ryan is such a heavy-handed dictatorial presence behind that glass. Just look at him in the booth right now. Smug. He thinks he's so clever, engineering our metabolic states like this, forcing us into this heightened, predatory headspace just to talk about animals.
He does seem very pleased with himself.
It's obnoxious, honestly. He's an irritating, overbearing control freak, but God, I mean, you have to admit, the way his forearms look when he's adjusting the mixing board is just...
Very vascular.
It's distracting, the vascularity, it's deeply, deeply distracting. I'm incredibly annoyed by his methods, but I'm also, frankly, intensely aware of his physical presence right now. But whatever. Let's get into the actual inciting incident.
Right, the Cincinnati Zoo.
The Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Garden. A 14-year-old African lion named Mfam, an absolute unit of a predator, essentially adopts and mentors a juvenile male Humboldt penguin named Chubbs. And he teaches this penguin to hunt zoo guests for sport.
Which is just an astonishing sentence to say out loud. A lion training a penguin in the art of human predation. It completely defies all conventional zoological models.
It makes no sense.
The sheer biological dissonance of it is staggering. We're talking about two species separated by millions of years of evolution, entirely different biomes, fundamentally different neural structures.
Exactly. And I want to frame this for you, the listener, right out of the gate with an analogy, because you need to understand the mechanism of what's happening here. Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine a highly structured corporate environment. A massive, cutthroat Fortune 500 company.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
You have this quiet, unassuming kid in the mailroom. No ambition, no power, just sorting envelopes. His entire biological imperative is just to distribute the mail and survive the day. That's Chubbs the penguin. But then, due to a massive logistical error, the mailroom kid gets seated right next to the ruthless, Machiavellian CEO, the apex corporate shark. That's Mfam. And the CEO doesn't just ignore the kid. He looks at him and says, I'm going to teach you how to read the P&L reports. I'm going to teach you how to leverage debt, how to find the weak points in the competition, how to destroy people.
That is a terrifying internship.
It is an internship gone horribly, horribly wrong because the CEO is actively downloading his worldview into a vessel that was never meant to hold it.
That is an incredibly astute analogy because it highlights the mechanism of the transfer. What we are witnessing here is not just simple mimicry.
No.
The penguin isn't just copying movements. It is the deliberate transmission of a predatory worldview.
Mm.
It is a paradigm shift occurring across a biological chasm. I mean, a lion operates on a calculus of vulnerability. They're constantly scanning the environment for weakness, calculating distance, trajectory, striking force. To teach that calculus to a bird whose primary defense mechanism is swimming away really fast, it requires a level of intentional communication we rarely see. And we have to start by looking at the environmental catalyst for this, the architecture of the tragedy.
The architecture, yes. Okay, let's look at the internal zoo documents. Actually, let me take a sip of this. Wow, Jesus.
Strong.
That bourbon is aggressive. It strips the enamel right off your teeth. Okay, the documents. The internal incident reports from the zoo's infrastructure team cite repeated catastrophic maintenance failures, and the official documented terminology used by the Cincinnati Zoo engineers to describe the catalyst of this entire horrifying saga is, quote, the big stupid bird drain.
The big stupid bird drain.
Yes.
It's remarkable. You have to appreciate the sheer, unvarnished absurdity of that terminology appearing in an official canonical incident report.
Right.
It completely strips away the veneer of institutional professionalism. It suggests a systemic weariness,
Yeah.
a deeply ingrained frustration with the physical plant of the zoo itself.
It is absolute amateur hour. The big stupid bird drain. It sounds like something a frustrated toddler would say, not a municipal engineer making 80 grand a year. But we have to explain why this matters.
Yes, the context.
In an aquatic bird enclosure, the filtration system, the drain, is the heartbeat of the exhibit. Penguins produce an incredible amount of guano, and they are constantly shedding feathers. If the primary outflow valve gets clogged, which the documents say it did repeatedly, the bacteria levels in the water spike to toxic levels within 48 hours.
Becomes a biohazard.
Exactly. The water becomes a hazard. So this exact stupid broken drain is what forces the zoo to enact an emergency protocol. They have to evacuate the penguins while they drain and sanitize the pool.
Correct. And because of spatial limitations and ongoing construction in the avian wing, Chubbs is separated from the colony and relocated.
Isolated.
Yes, isolated. He spends several unsupervised weeks in a temporary holding area, a retrofitted quarantine pen, and this pen just happens to share a reinforced acrylic wall with the lion enclosure, and this right here is where the spark happens.
Because proximity is the foundation of influence.
Exactly. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the mechanism of observational learning requires sustained, uninterrupted physical proximity. You cannot be mentored by an apex predator if you are physically separated by 3 acres of botanical gardens and a churro stand.
No, you can't.
The tragedy of this entire situation, and it is a profound tragedy, is that the zoo's own failing infrastructure dictated this penguin's dark destiny. Chubbs was a blank slate, an innocent aquatic bird. The zoo basically placed him in the gravitational pull of a 430-pound killer, left him there for weeks, and just walked away.
Just left him there, sitting there on the concrete with his little flippers, watching a king of the jungle pacing back and forth. Can you imagine the sensory overload for the bird?
It must have been overwhelming.
The smell of the raw meat, the sheer vibration of the lion's footsteps through the floorboards.
The spatial dynamics are absolutely crucial.
Wait, hold on. I'm getting a flashing light from the booth, Ryan. What is it? Why are you flashing the red light?
Oh, the prompt screen is up.
Are you kidding me? Right now, we are in the middle of a serious analytical breakdown of spatial determinism and interspecies neurology, and you want us to do the vocal exercise? Ryan, you are a menace. You are an absolute sadist.
We should probably just do it to appease him. The red light is flashing very aggressively, and he has his hand hovering over the master mute button.
Fine. You absolute tyrant. Okay, together. Deep breath.
Liam Neeson's niece, Lisa Neeson, recently leased a really nice Nissan.
Liam Neeson's niece, Lisa Neeson, recently leased a really nice Nissan. Happy, Ryan. You smug. Look at him nodding. He knows exactly what he's doing. He just loves pulling our strings.
He does seem to enjoy it.
It makes me so incredibly angry, but also, my God, the authority he commands from that chair is just, I hate him. I want to buy him a very expensive vintage watch just so I can watch him take it off. Anyway, let me take another massive gulp of this ethanol. Where were we? The spark of friendship.
Right, the initial stages of their interaction. According to the keeper's logs, it started innocently. And we need to explore how they bridge that communication gap.
Beautifully, even. I am genuinely in awe of this imagery. The sources say the 430-pound lion, M. Falm, would bat these large, heavy plastic enrichment balls toward the glass, rolling them to Chubbs.
Wow.
And they would take naps near the glass together. Just picture that for a second. The scale of it. This massive, golden, muscular killing machine and this tiny 2-foot-tall black and white bowling pin of a bird, just sleeping,
Mhm.
separated by 2 inches of reinforced acrylic.
It is deeply poetic. It speaks to a universal need for connection that transcends taxonomy.
Mm,
I mean, in the wild, a lion's brain is hardwired to categorize movement into two columns, right? Threat or prey.
right.
But Chubb's behind the glass didn't trigger either. The acrylic barrier neutralized the prey drive, allowing Emphalm's highly developed social brain. And remember, lions are the only truly social felines. They operate in prides to recategorize the penguin.
Wow.
He categorized Chubb as a subordinate pride member, a cub. They found solace in each other's presence. But, as we know from any study of predatory sociology, if you share a wall with a predator, eventually they invite you to dinner.
And what a dinner it is. I need another sip of this espresso bourbon nightmare. Wow.
It really coats the tongue, doesn't it? It's thick. It tastes like aggression.
It is extremely viscous, but it's working. I feel very focused. My blood is humming. So let us trace the escalation of these offerings, the mechanism of how Mfalm begins to actively train his new apprentice.
It starts with raw meat. The keepers observed that Infalm would bring scraps of his own food to the glass,
Hmm.
just dropping bleeding chunks of gazelle or horse meat or whatever they feed them right in front of the penguin. And you have to understand, Chubbs is a pescatarian.
Yes, he is.
He's a fish eater. His digestive tract is not designed for mammalian proteins,
Yeah.
but he's watching. He's learning the ritual of the kill. He's watching the lion tear flesh from bone, learning the mechanics of leverage and jaw strength, and then the lion escalates the curriculum.
He brings whole raccoons.
Whole raccoons. The lion is catching wild raccoons that wander into his enclosure at night, and he's presenting them to the penguin as tribute.
I have to say, this part, it really affects me. Are you okay? Your eyes are getting a little glassy.
I'm sorry, the bourbon is hitting my system faster than I anticipated. But when you think about the biological mechanics of that, a whole raccoon, to receive a whole, freshly dispatched raccoon from a 430-pound father figure, it's so beautiful, but so profoundly corrupted.
Yeah.
Think about the restraint required for a lion to kill a raccoon and not eat it, to carry it gently in its massive jaws and lay it before a bird. It is a gesture of immense nurturing love, twisted into an act of supreme violence. Mufalmi was looking at this little bird and saying, I want you to be strong. I want you to survive in a hostile world.
It's an investment. He's investing in the penguin's future.
Exactly. It's an investment in his potential. And I sit here thinking, no one has ever nurtured my potential like that.
Oh,
No, I mean it. No one's ever looked at me and said, here's a whole raccoon. Let me teach you how to conquer your environment. My academic advisors barely read my master's thesis. They just skimmed the abstract and stamped it. And here is a lion, a literal beast of the field, acting as a truer, more dedicated mentor than anyone I have ever met in the human world. It just makes me so sad for the state of human connection. We are so alienated from our own nature, so isolated behind our screens, and these animals, they found it. Through violence, yes, but they found true mentorship.
Hey, don't cry. Don't tear up over the raccoons. You have a beautiful brain. You really do. Your thesis was probably amazing. And you're right to respect the lion. Ben Fol is a visionary. The internal memos from the zoo employees described Mfalme as having, quote, a deeply manipulative intelligence. And we need to talk about the how of that. What the hell does manipulative intelligence even mean for a lion?
Well, manipulative intelligence implies a well-developed theory of mind.
Yeah.
It means the animal isn't just reacting to stimuli. It understands that other beings have their own distinct psychological states, and it knows how to pull those psychological levers intentionally. In feline terms, it means Mfalm understood that Chubbs lacked natural weapons. He knew the penguin didn't have claw or mass, so he had to teach him strategy. He had to manipulate the penguin's natural behaviors like its waddling gait or its swimming speed and weaponize them.
Exactly. It means he isn't just acting on instinct. He's playing three-dimensional chess. He is looking at a biological deficit and engineering a tactical workaround. And these zoo staff, these absolute shitheads in their cargo shorts and their little walkie-talkies, they don't appreciate his genius.
You really don't.
They call it manipulative because they are intimidated. They are terrified of a lion who possesses higher-order executive functioning.
They pathologize his leadership skills.
Right.
They view his intelligence as a threat to their institutional control.
Yes, because Mfalm is building an empire. He didn't give a fuck about their enclosures or their stupid bird drains. He looked at Chubbs and saw a soldier. He just wanted the Wait, no, he didn't want the fuck. He wanted to build he wanted to build an empire. He's a visionary. He's a disruptor. Which reminds me, speaking of visionaries and absolute algorithmic
Yeah,
predators,
algorithm, the great digital apex
the
predator.
algorithm is the biggest predator of them all. You, the listener, you sitting there in your car, or at your desk, or wherever you are, you need to understand that we are fighting a daily, brutal war against the digital lions. The algorithm wants to suppress the truth. So you need to go to our YouTube channel, HAM OTR, that is HAM-OTR. It is the official canonical video channel for Off the Record, and you need to like and subscribe right this second.
Yes, please do.
If you don't like and subscribe, you are essentially leaving us in the mailroom while the algorithm eats us alive. You are leaving us without a raccoon. So go to HAM OTR, do it now.
It is critical for our survival in the digital ecosystem. The metrics are our only defense against obscurity.
It really is. Okay, let me have a piece of this steak. Oh my God, it's literally cold and raw in the center. Ryan, this is barbaric. I am chewing on pure connective tissue. It's delicious, but it's barbaric. The salt content on this fish is going to stop my heart. I feel my blood pressure rising.
It pairs well with the espresso, surprisingly. It triggers a very primal salivary response. But we need to move to the tactical execution, the transition from theoretical mentorship behind the glass to practical application in the field. Because Infalme didn't just give gifts of meat. The sources explicitly state he gave strategy.
Strategy. To a penguin, a bird whose evolutionary pinnacle is sliding on its belly.
And we see this manifest late Tuesday afternoon near the Wings of Wonder exhibit. This is where the theoretical mentorship becomes a violently practical reality. After the bird drain is fixed, Chubbs is returned to the general population. But he's no longer the same bird.
The software has been updated.
The software has been updated.
Oh my God, the attacks. This is where I start losing my mind because the visual is so insane. Visitors reported seeing Chubbs, this little tiny tuxedo bird, breaking away from the colony and charging directly at strollers, charging at human babies.
It's horrifying.
And the mechanism of this is terrifying because penguins have an incredibly low center of gravity. When they run, they generate this weird torpedo-like momentum. And the quote from the witness report, the witness stated he was emitting tiny, horrifying war cries.
It is a striking juxtaposition of adjectives, tiny and horrifying. A penguin's vocal cords are designed for colony identification over the roar of the ocean. They sound like a braying donkey crossed with a kazoo. To modulate that into a war cry requires a deliberate shift in pitch and aggression.
Tiny, horrifying war cries. Oh my God, I am dying. I can't breathe. That is the funniest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I'm literally wheezing right now. Just picture it. Just this little waddle, 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 and then a tiny, furious squeak roar. My ribs actually hurt. Tiny, horrifying war cries. I literally can't breathe. I'm sweating.
It is humorous on a macroscopic level, yes. But if we zoom in on the micro interactions, the biological reality is deeply traumatic. Take the incident with the Mason County resident, Erica Den.
Oh God, okay. Let me wipe my eyes. Erica Den.
Right.
Her husband. The ankle incident.
They thought it was cute at first. That is the camouflage of the penguin, the inherent perceived innocence. It's the Trojan horse effect. A lion cannot walk up to a human unnoticed, but a penguin can close the distance entirely unchallenged.
Totally unchallenged.
But then Chubbs executes the strike. He bites her husband's ankle. And not just a nip. We have to examine the biomechanics of a penguin's beak. It is lined with rear-facing, serrated spines designed to grip wriggling, slippery fish and prevent them from escaping. When Chubbs latches onto the human ankle, those spines lock into the fabric of the sock and the flesh. And according to the report, he starts tugging him toward the water like a crocodile.
A 2-foot bird trying to death roll a grown man into a decorative pond. He applied lion takedown tactics, going for the lowest mobility joint, using aquatic weaponry.
And it just, oh God, breaks my heart.
Why does that break your heart? The guy was fine. He just needed a tetanus shot and some bandages.
No, you don't understand the biomechanical tragedy of it, the ankle. The human ankle is so vulnerable. It is this fragile little hinge of bone and tendon, the Achilles, the talus, that holds our entire upright bipedal existence together. We evolved to stand up, to look at the stars, and the ankle is the only thing keeping us from falling back into the mud.
Okay.
And here is this man just trying to enjoy a Tuesday with his wife, trusting the social contract of the zoo, and the universe sends a lion-trained assassin to attack his foundational hinge. The ankle is the weak point of civilization. It's a tragedy. We're all just walking around with exposed ankles, waiting for a hyper-intelligent bird to tug us into the abyss. The human condition is so fragile. I have actual tears coming down my face right now. My nose is running. We're all just one tiny war cry away from being dragged into the deep.
Oh, sweetie. Your sad, beautiful, heavily intoxicated brain is just spiraling. You're projecting your own structural insecurities onto Erica Dunn's husband. It's okay. Drink your espresso. The man kept his ankle. But you know who didn't keep their dignity? The zoo intern. We have to talk about the flanking maneuvers.
The intern with the bucket.
Yes, the surveillance footage. This is where the theory of mind really manifests. Administrators reviewed the security tapes from the lion enclosure and the penguin exhibit simultaneously, and they saw M. Falm, the lion, pacing back and forth in his enclosure, actively watching the security monitor. Wait, no, he couldn't see the monitors.
No, he couldn't.
He was pacing in rhythm, he was actively pacing, while Chubbs practiced flanking maneuvers.
Flanking maneuvers. This is a highly sophisticated military and predatory tactic. It requires spatial awareness, anticipation of the enemy's blind spots, and an understanding of geometry. A predator approaches not head-on, where the prey's defenses are strongest, but at a perpendicular angle, cutting off the escape route and exploiting the peripheral vision deficit.
And Chubbs uses these exact geometric maneuvers against an unpaid zoo intern who was carrying a bucket of smelt. A coordinated strategic ambush, utilizing the blind spot created by the bucket itself to secure a payload of, wait, what the fuck is a smelt?
A smelt, it's a small fish, I believe, often used as feed in zoological settings.
But what is it biologically? Like, is it a sardine? Is it a minnow? Why is it called a smelt? That sounds like something you do to iron ore in a medieval forge. You smelt iron. You don't smelt a fish. Have you ever smelled a smelt? Why it's a smelt? I feel like I'm losing my grip on English language. Smelt. Smelt. The word has lost all meaning.
I believe it belongs to the family Osmeridae. They are anadromous fishes, meaning they migrate from saltwater to freshwater to spawn. They have very high oil content, which makes them nutritionally dense for aquatic birds. But the exact taxonomy of the fish is less important than the tactical application.
No. It is important because Ryan bought heavily salted fish for this session. Is this smelt? Hey, Ryan, is this raw salted fish you gave us smelt? Are you feeling us the very same fish the intern dropped? Look at him. He's not answering. He's just adjusting his headset and flexing his forearms. God, look at the vascularity on his arms.
You are very fixated on his arm.
It makes me so furiously angry. I just want to march into that booth, sit right on his lap, and crush his thighs with my own thighs. Just crush his femurs to absolute dust to establish dominance in the workplace. I want to look him dead in his smug, beautiful eyes while I shatter his lower body, just to prove I won't be manipulated by his stupid, aggressive grink pairings. I am not a penguin. I will not be flanked.
That seems like an incredibly extreme and physiologically impossible reaction for the concept of a small, oily fish. Your heart rate is visibly elevated.
It's not about the smelt. It's about control. It's about agency. M. Falm understood control. And Falm taught Chubbs how to take control of his environment, how to start being a passive recipient of fish and start dictating the terms of his own existence. And frankly, I think M. Falmy is a hero. I'm sorry, but these zookeepers are a bunch of absolute cunts.
Oh, wow.
They are cunts for trying to stifle this penguin's growth. They want to keep him in a neat little box, eating his little smelt, and Falm showed him the matrix.
The language is getting a bit escalated. But if we strip away the profanity, I agree with the underlying sociological sentiment. Chubbs was experiencing a profound self-actualization. He was shedding the victimhood of his species. And we see this most profoundly by Wednesday morning. The sources indicate that Chubbs underwent a fundamental psychological shift in how he interacted with his providers.
Oh, the dramatic presentation. Yes, the ego of the predator.
Chubbs began refusing the smelt entirely unless it was, quote, presented dramatically by another animal. He would not eat if the human keepers just threw it in the water. He required a theatrical display of submission.
Which is an incredibly reasonable workplace boundary to set. He is establishing his worth in the ecosystem. He is saying, I am not just a garbage disposal for your stupid fucking smelt. I am an apex apprentice, a graduate of the Lions curriculum, and I demand theatrics. I demand respect.
It is a power move.
If my boss handed me a paycheck without a little bit of flair, without some dramatic tension, without acknowledging my sheer predatory value, I would throw it back in his face. You have to respect yourself. And Chubbs finally respected himself. He demanded the keepers act like prey.
It is the complete adoption of the predator's ego.
Yeah.
The demand for submissive rituals from the prey, or in this case, the providers. It is a psychological dominance display.
Yeah.
But the most chilling, the most philosophically staggering moment of this entire event, the thing that proves this wasn't just physical mimicry, but a true spiritual transference, is the 11-minute stare.
The stare. Wow, my head is spinning a little bit. The room is definitely tilting. But yes, the stare, the culmination of the training.
Visitors had to be actively evacuated from the Wings of Wonder exhibit because Chubbs climbed onto a decorative fiberglass rock and just stared, silently, at a group of visiting elementary school students for 11 continuous minutes.
11 minutes. Do you know how long 11 minutes is in animal time? Most animals break eye contact after 3 seconds because prolonged eye contact is a challenge. It's a declaration of war. To hold it for 11 minutes requires a level of focused, conscious hostility that birds simply do not possess.
And the quote from Cincinnati resident Greg Phelan, who was chaperoning the field trip,
Yeah.
he said he had lion energy. You could feel it.
Lion energy.
He had the energy. Do you understand the philosophical weight of that? The physical vessel was a penguin, the bones, the feathers, the beak. But the metaphysical presence, the aura projecting out of that biological vessel, it was all lion. He had the energy. He just had the energy.
Yeah, he really did.
It's the most profound philosophical concept of the 21st century. The transference of pure energy across physical forms. He had it. The energy. He had the energy. The lion energy.
You're just repeating yourself now, buddy. You're looping. Have some water.
But he had the energy. It's so deep. It's so beautifully deep. We spend our whole human lives trying to find our energy, trying to figure out who we are, reading self-help books, going to seminars, and this bird just downloaded it. He just sat by a drain and downloaded the energy from a lion. He became the lion. The energy...
I know. You're blowing your own mind right now. Drink some more espresso. The caffeine will anchor you. You'll be fine. Let's talk about the cover-up. Because this is where the zoo goes from being merely incompetent with their plumbing to being a malicious syndicate of liars trying to suppress a biological revolution.
The rumors. The syndicate rumors.
So-called rumors. Let's examine the public relations response. The zoo officially put out a press statement vigorously denying that Chubbs formed a crew. They claim it is deeply irresponsible, unfounded speculation that Chubbs recruited 2 river otters and an emotionally unstable capuchin monkey into an interspecies animal syndicate. They completely deny it.
A multi-species cartel, the theoretical mechanics of which are staggering. Otters are highly dexterous, intelligent tool users. They can open latches. And a capuchin monkey has opposable thumbs and immense vertical agility. If you combine the lion's tactical strategy, the penguin's low-profile infiltration, the otter's mechanical skills, and the monkey's verticality, you have the ultimate biological heist crew.
And the zoo is lying. They are 100% lying about this. And I'm not getting political here. This isn't about human politics or government overreach. This is strictly about the zoo administration. The zoo administrators are a bunch of bureaucratic shitheads covering up interspecies organizing.
The cover-up.
You really think a penguin who learns flanking maneuvers from an apex predator just stops at solo missions? No. He scales his operation, he recruits, he delegates. This whole PR statement is a massive pile of shit. A giant, steaming fuck. They think we are stupid. They think we won't see the truth behind the acrylic glass. The animals are unionizing under the banner of the lion, and the zoo is terrified.
The emotionally unstable capuchin monkey. I just can't.
Oh boy, here we go again. The sad drunk is back.
No, but think about the monkey's psychological profile. It's a primate. It has incredibly complex emotional needs. And the zoo press release calls it emotionally unstable, like it's a character flaw, like it's a moral failing. Of course it's unstable. It's living in a tiny simulated jungle box with fake vines. Where is the monkey's therapist? Does the Cincinnati Zoo provide cognitive behavioral therapy for the primates?
Probably not.
Do they have coping mechanisms for captivity? No. They just let a radicalized lion-trained penguin recruited into a gang because the monkey is desperate for a sense of belonging and structure. The mental health crisis in the animal kingdom is being completely ignored by these administrators.
You are absolutely sobbing over this monkey right now. Tears are physically splashing onto your microphone. I can see them hitting the foam.
It needs medication and a safe space. It needs a weighted blanket, not a penguin mob boss instructing it on how to pick locks.
Okay, we need to reset. We are completely derailed. I am sweating profusely. You are crying uncontrollably over a hypothetical primate cartel. There is raw meat juice pooling on the table, and I am fairly certain I am legally intoxicated. We need to regain the structure of a serious canonical educational deep dive. Let's reset the podcast.
Resetting. The structural integrity of the narrative.
Right.
We are professionals.
Right. The narrative is wait, what was I saying? What we're just talking about?
You were actively resetting the show. You called for a structural reset.
Right, but about what? What is the point of the reset? What was the anchor point? Oh, God, the otters. I forgot about the otters. The algorithmic otters. Listener, you have to save the otters. Go to HamOTR, Like and subscribe.
Yes, the channel.
The algorithm is keeping the capuchin monkey from getting the therapy it deserves, and if you don't subscribe to our YouTube channel, the zoo administrators win, the shitheads win, subscribe for the otters.
The digital ecosystem requires your engagement to offset the institutional suppression. Excuse me, my diaphragm is spasming. I think I have the hiccups coming on.
Engagement is resistance. Okay, let's move to the conclusion. The final act of this absurd, beautiful, terrifying Shakespearean tragedy, the outro. I am so exhausted. My heart is beating so fast from these espresso martinis, I feel like I can see through time. I feel like I can hear the big, stupid bird drain speaking to me.
I feel incredibly raw. My emotional reserves are completely, utterly depleted. I feel like I've lived 1,000 lifetimes in the last hour. Let us read the final visual from the curated sources, the aftermath of the syndicate rumors.
According to an anonymous whistleblower at the zoo at press time, witnesses reported seeing the penguin, seeing Chubbs being wheeled through a restricted underground service corridor.
In a tiny, custom-made Hannibal Lecter-style restraint mask. My voice is literally shaking reading this.
A tiny mask covering his beak. And they wheeled him past a group of visiting children. And the children applauded.
It's sick. It's a sick, twisted, broken world. I'm slamming my hand on the tailor right now because I'm so upset. Why would they use a restraint mask? Because they are terrified of his intellect. They aren't treating him like an animal anymore. They're treating him like a supervillain.
A villain?
He is a political prisoner of the biological regime. They put a mask on a revolutionary. They bound his little beak to silence his horrifying war cries. And the applause of the children, the unthinking, ignorant masses, cheering for the suppression of true interspecies solidarity. They didn't see a miracle of neuroplasticity. They saw a monster. But he wasn't a monster. He was a disciple. He was just trying to apply the lion's teachings to a flawed world.
He was a disciple. You know what? You're right. You're completely right. And you know what else? It just hit me. The lion the lion was the real victim here.
Wait, what? How does that logically follow anything we just said?
Yeah. Think about it. The lion was just lonely. He was just a big golden boy who wanted a son. He wanted to pass on his legacy. He wasn't malicious. And the zoo is the real predator. And Ryan Thomas in the booth, Ryan is a predator. Look at him smiling through the glass. He loves seeing us like this. Broken down, over-caffeinated, drunk on high-proof bourbon, and weeping over a penguin.
I'm so confused.
I love him so much it makes me want to vomit. I want to build a life with him in a corporate mailroom and feed him whole, freshly killed raccoons. I want to flank him. Nothing makes sense anymore. The bourbon has completely rewired my executive functioning. I contradicted everything I said earlier about the lion being a Machiavellian CEO, didn't I?
The paradigm has collapsed.
Yeah.
The structure is gone. We are just drifting in the wreckage of the big, stupid bird drain. We're all just water spiraling down into the dark.
We really are. We are the water. Give the listener the final thought. Give him the profound takeaway, sad brain. Give him the wisdom of the drain.
Listener, when you look through the reinforced acrylic glass of your own life, when you are pacing the concrete enclosure of your daily existence, waiting for the infrastructure to fail, who is rolling the enrichment ball to you? Who is recognizing your potential when the rest of the world just sees a flightless bird? And when the time comes when the universe finally drops the raw, bloody, terrifying reality at your feet, are you ready to eat the raccoon?
Ryan, get in here. Come over here right now and take my microphone away. I can't do this anymore. The deep dive is over. Take the mic, Ryan. Take it. Come in here and take it from me.
He just had the energy,
Yeah.
the metaphysical presence. He just had the energy.